I'm ready to run through a wall.
We're going to run some clock, or maybe some.
This team is destined. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The Philadelphia Phillies are insane, folks. They are insane. Rob Thompson is not only returning as manager in 2026, but according to Dave Dombrowski in their end-of-season press conference, Rob Thompson will be extended. We don't know how long. I believe he said a year, another year. So Rob Thompson will remain manager through 2027. That's the report from Dave Dombrowski. And everything, all signs, all messages point to the fact that the Phillies are running this puppy back. There's no changes. The coaching staff's the same. Kevin Long's still here. Cotham's still here. Thompson's still here. Dombrowski's still here. It's all the same cats that have been unable to win in big-time moments for this baseball team. We saw Dombrowski talk about Bryce Harper in a negative way. He started negative, and then he finished it in a positive light. We'll get into that. But just like the message from these guys, man, like it's just no matter if they win or lose, it's all sunshine and rainbows. And that's what bothers me about this baseball team. It doesn't matter if they win, they lose, they win by 50, or they lose by 100. They could care less. Everything to them is sunshine and rainbows. They're a 96-win baseball team. Nothing to be upset about. We had a great season. I'm so damn tired of hearing the same thing over and over and over again. That is exactly what I did not want to hear. I didn't want to come in and listen to that press conference and hear from everybody saying, oh, well, we won 96 games. We had a first-round bye. We won the division. That is definitely what I don't want it. That's not what I wanted to hear in the slightest. But that's what we heard. And that just continues to show the incompetency, the piss-poor management, the cluelessness in the Phillies front office. And then I said this following Game 4 when the Phillies got eliminated. I said not only do I think Rob should be gone, I think Kevin Long should be fired, but I also said I strongly believe that there should be a possibility and the thought and the conversation of getting rid of Dave Dombrowski. I think that should not be off the table. This guy has failed consistently. Consistently with this baseball team, Dave Dombrowski has failed. So, and again, I think they're making a disastrous decision running this thing back. You heard him say that Kyle Schwarber is their priority. I have a lot of mixed feelings regarding bringing Schwarber back. Like, I'm not in favor. I'm not against it. I'm kind of right in the middle. Like, I don't really care. It's just where I'm at. There's so much to get into. And, of course, you guys, I appreciate you guys coming in and listening and joining. 215-839-8246. That's the number to get in. I want to hear all of your thoughts. I know there's a large majority of the fan base that's like me that's upset about this. But then there's also a percentage of the fan base that feels happy and, you know what I mean? I expected this stuff. I really expected it. I really, 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 really expected it. Well,
about regional rail
let's go to my buddy Herb up in the Northeast. What's up, Herb?
What's happening, Ryan? Okay, I want to talk about what's that?
Go ahead.
I got some names that I want to touch with you. I want to talk about Marchand, Realmuto, Clemens, that played for Minnesota, had 18 plus home runs. Banks. Okay. What I'm going to talk about is Marchand should have been in the lineup starting May of this year. Should have been in the lineup every third day to catch for Realmuto.
I do agree with that. They overused him again. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Switch hitter. Look at it. He's a switch hitter, and he's got some power. Okay. Now, Realmuto should have been batting fifth in this Dodger series, the whole game, You don't move them. Just batting fifth, and that's it. Bones fourth. 1, 2, 3. We know what that is.
Well,
Okay, so
hold on. Let me ask Herb, not to interrupt you, but I don't believe Bohm's a four-hole hitter. And in my own theory, I think JT. If you're going to throw JT at 5, why not throw JT at 4? Bohm should not be your four-hole hitter. He doesn't have enough power to be a four-hole hitter.
yeah.
JT.
Well,
I believe JT has
maybe
the power. I just think, like, I do agree. Maybe Marsh definitely should not have been batting fifth, but I think there's a serious discussion and debate to have Romuto bat 4 instead of Bohm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
that's all. I don't have a problem. Fourth or fifth, it don't matter.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I thought they should have kept Corey Clement and this guy Banks, either Banks or Luzardo, should have stayed in the game. He got put those guys on. Let them try to get them out. That's
Right.
all.
No,
Give him a chance.
I agree.
I rather had him lost the game, Luzardo, rather than dealing to watch that kid where the ball hit his glove, went off, and he didn't even realize at first base, never even looked at first base and just threw it to home. He gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life. I mean, yeah, the Phillies are going to try to help him, to get through all that, but he'll get through it. But it's still, baseball is baseball. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's not the only one that messed up balls like that. There was other what's his name, Bill Buckner, when he played for the Red Sox, messed up one ball. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's been a few of them, that messed up balls. But other than that, they're not going to tell you anything. They're going to try to make this team better. Yeah, but they got a lot of issues. They got to bring up Painter. They got to see what this Aiden Miller can do, and they got to see what Crawford can do. And I could see possibly Crawford definitely making this team come late March. If he has a good spring, it's time to bring him up then. And uh, after the World Series, you're going to hear a lot of there'll be a lot of chatter out there.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of free agents out there that got power, and we need them. We need to make this team better so we can. This team I thought was going to do it, face Milwaukee, and they just couldn't win those. One game at home, one game in LA. Come back here Saturday
Yeah.
night and win it. You know what I mean? And they just couldn't figure it out. They
No,
just,
I agree with you,
I
Herb.
mean, the Dodgers got good pitching. They got guys that throw different, split finger, curveball, sliders, this, that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Lefty on lefty. I mean, lefty on lefty is tough, man. When that slider's coming in there, and then I mean Harper, man, he chased a few pitches.
He did.
Like
Yeah, he did.
they were outside pitches, and I know the ball looks good, but it's got to be still inside the plate area. You can't swing at pitches that are like, a foot outside or 6 inches outside. I mean, you got to know the strike zone out here,
I
man.
agree.
That's what you're
Herb,
getting paid.
Herb, I appreciate the phone call, man. I got other callers. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, Herb.
Let's hope we hope they get it on track again and make a run next year.
I hope they can turn around. Thanks for the phone call, Herb. 215-839-8246. That's the number to get in on the conversation. I want to hear your thoughts. I think there's a lot of people like me that's frustrated, upset, angry with what Dombrowski and Rob and this management has said continuously. I mean, they have fed us the same thing over and over and over again. It's the same thing. Year after year after year, we're stuck listening to these press conferences where they say the same thing. Well, we're proud of our guys. We like what we did. We liked what we were capable of. We won however many games. I mean, they won 96 games this year. So we won 96 games. We're happy. We're proud. This is a great ball club. But at one point, there's that well run dry. That well full of water where you're banking on all your fans getting sucked back into your baseball team. When does that end? Because I promise you, there's a large majority of fans out there that are starting to get fed up with you. And there's a large majority of fans that are like, just wake me up in October. And there's also a good amount of fans that are like, well, this team is the new Sixers. There's so much, man. This team makes me so aggravated. Let's go to my buddy Alex in Nebraska. What's up, Alex?
Yo, what's up, Rod? How are you?
I mean, I could be better. I'm a little pissed off about what they said, but it is what it is. Same thing every year.
Yeah, it's seriously starting to approach Sixers territory for this Phillies team. It really is. You know, I don't know. I don't know what they expect next year. I think the team's going to be worse next year. We're not going to have Wheeler. We don't even know if Wheeler's going to pitch, or if he does pitch, is he going to be the same caliber pitcher? Probably not. I don't think we're going to re-sign Schwarber. Someone's going to give him way too much money.
Well, good.
We
Let him
might
walk.
not re-sign. Yeah, but we should let him walk. We're not going to re-sign Bader. At least I don't think. I think he's going to get a lot. He's not going to get a lot of money, but he's going to get more money than we're willing to pay him. And, who knows with Ranger? Ranger, I think, is a 50-50, but
Well, for a large
Dave and
majority,
Rob are
they
acting
didn't
like
even
this
bring
team-
up Ranger Suarez. For a long period of the press conference, they didn't even touch on Ranger. It was just they had the priority. They had it for me, from what I understood from Dabrowski, it was Schwarber, JT, and Bader. And then they threw in Alvarado, keeping him, using the club option and whatever else. But there was a lot of distance when it came to Ranger Suarez, from what I felt.
yeah, I don't even know what to say with this team. It's same old Phillies every year. I don't know what they expect. My biggest issue is Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson at this press conference. We're acting like we're a young team, acting like, everybody at the team's 25, 26 years old. They're still learning. They're still doing all of that. No, we're one of the oldest teams in baseball.
I agree.
I mean, Wheeler's at 30. Wheeler's at 35. Harper's at 33. Turner's 32, 33.
Yeah, they're all up
Schwarber's
there.
at 33. It's not like we're getting any younger.
Nope.
This team is old. This is an old team. It's kind of now or never. It's not like, oh, well, we got a good future in 3 years. We don't have a future.
We have a horrible future in a couple of years.
It's
Once
now,
these guys walk,
literally now or never.
yeah, I mean, once these guys walk, this baseball team is gutted. I mean, let's think about it. You are going to have a young crew. If you call Miller up, you call Painter up, you call Crawford up. But outside of them three cats, I don't know who you have, man. Stott is a young guy, but he blows.
But
offensively.
Look at Stott. Look at Stott. Stott's 27 years old. He should be in the prime of his career.
Oh, I agree. No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
No,
I agree with you. What I'm saying is we could say all these guys, Crawford, Miller, Painter. I agree that they're going to come up and they're going to play, whatever. And I agree. Let's look at what Stott has done. Stott blows. Stott offensively stinks. Bohm has not been that great in his career. He's 6'7", can't hit a home run, is a crybaby, can't control his emotions. I mean, we look at all these guys. The only guy that has fully come through our program and has been actually good, come through our program and has been consistently a great player, has been Ranger Suarez. And if you want to throw Nola in there too, fine. Nola for the majority of his career has been pretty good, but the only one I can really look at and say is that we've gotten a real good, solid return on our investment has been Ranger Suarez. So I agree. I mean, we're going to call all these guys up, which it is what it is. It's bound to happen. You got to make the core younger. But again, there's so many not options, but examples on this baseball team where you say, these guys can't turn out like that.
Yeah, and a big thing for me was like obviously Harper's not the same guy he was in 22, 23, but Harper did everything we asked him to do. I mean, he actually carried us to a World Series. Like Dombrowski knew that was our window. He knew Harper was getting up there in age, and what did he do? Nothing. What other big free agent signing outside of Trey Turner did we really get for Bryce Harper after that 2022 World Series? No one.
Nobody. No.
Like Dombrowski knew. Look, this year to this year, like 22 to 25 is our window. Who would he get? I mean, no offense to Harrison Bader. I love Harrison Bader, but he cannot be your best trade deadline or free agent acquisition since our World Series. He can't be. And I love him, but it's a fact. He just can't be your best guy you've gotten in the past 3 years.
No, I agree with you, man. When we first brought him in, I was like, well, this doesn't fix everything, and he turned out to be much better than I expected. But at the same time, man, he's not your savior, right? Like you don't see like the Dodgers. Now we'll not say the Dodgers, but let's say like I'm trying. I don't know, like Julio, like for the Mariners, like they have Julio Rodriguez. Like Bader's not a Julio Rodriguez, right? Like we were trying to make Bader into being like this guy, and he's kind of stepped into it. But when he got injured, it's like, dude, where do we go from here? Castellanos blows. Marsh is a platoon player at best, in my opinion. You could maybe get by with him in left field or right field, but I just think he's a platoon player or just not at all, and you had to throw Kepler in there because Castellanos stunk. And then you had to throw Otto Kemp. Like, it just didn't work out. So I do agree with you. Alex, you got anything else, man?
Yeah, I have one more thing
Go
before I head out.
Okay.
My final point I want to make is Dombrowski said it last year in his press conference. He said it this year. How many times is he going to bring up, oh, well, we ran into a good team? What kind of teams do you think we're going to run into in the playoffs?
I agree.
I mean, we're not going to face the 2023 Marlins in the wild card every round.
No, I agree.
mean, like, who does he expect we're going to play? The Nationals? Like, I don't know.
Well, here's something that bothered me, and I'll say it so you can listen because I know you know what I mean. But here's something right here. Here's what really bothered me. Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson every single year, and specifically this year, come on and say, well, we were a 96-win baseball team. Our pitching staff was great, especially our starting pitchers. Schwarber had a great year. Turner won the National League batting title. Everybody did exactly what they had to do. We won the National League East. We had the first round bye. We had 96 wins. We ran into a good team. And they're like, well, these are all things to be positive and look back on that have been great. But all those reasons are reasons why I look at this postseason run as a complete failure. I look at this as a complete failure. You can't sell me on the point that just because Schwarber had 56 homers and Turner finally had a good year, won the National League batting title, and we had a great starting rotation even without Wheeler, and JT had some offensive production. Marsh had maybe his best year since being here, right? You can't sell me on all those points and then say, well, it's okay that we lost because we had all that. No, because we had all that, actually, we should have won. We should have won. You know what I mean? Like, I look at all those reasons that Rob and Dombrowski say it was a great year, and I say it was a complete failure. You had every possible scenario and every possible reason to win a series, to win a World Series, and you couldn't do it. I look at this as a failure. I don't care who wins the National League bet. I don't care. But you had it and you still lost. So how can you possibly look at that as a failure? If it was a 2022 Phillies and they kind of backed their way into it and it was a Cinderella run and they ran into this Dodgers team, fine. So be it. Dodgers are better than you. But with the way that Dombrowski and Robin have been painting this picture that the Phillies had a great year and are better than the Dodgers, then why is it okay that we lost? Does that make sense, or am I crazy?
No, it makes sense. It's the same thing that happened with Embiid winning his MVP. No one cares if he won the MVP if he can't beat Boston.
No, I agree.
That was a disaster. Him losing that series against Boston completely made his, I mean, not his MVP irrelevant. Obviously, it's not irrelevant, but you know what I mean. Like we look at Embiid and it's like, yo, how are you the MVP and you just let Jason Tatum drop 55 on your head, right?
No, I agree
In
with you.
game 7.
I agree with you. Alex, I appreciate the phone call. It brings up a great point. Like, again, and I just said this, but how can, like, Rob and Dave, they look at this and they say, oh, this is so great. We won 96 games. Everything's wonderful. How do you look at, like, again, you have every possible reason to win a World Series. Your pitching staff was great, especially starting pitching, especially after Wheeler went down. Your bullpen, as soon as you got Duran and Robertson, it stabilized the back half of the bullpen. Your bullpen became salvageable. Your lineup, for the most part, was very good. Schwarber had a freaking wonderful year. Marsh had his best year as a Philly by far. Turner won the National League batting title. You finally got good production out of JT. Your depth off the bench was somewhat decent. Sosa had a good year off the bench. So these are all reasons I look at it and I say, well, how can you possibly say this was a good year? I look at this as a complete, utter failure. I look at it as a failure. God forbid, man. It's such a failure. So here's something. Here's something that was positive that I like. So they said Wheeler's estimated time of getting back is at the end of spring training through May. So in the first half of the season, we'll be looking at that. Here's something that bothered me too. Dave Dombrowski goes on, and Dave Dombrowski says, well, we have too many lefties in our line. Dave. Sports talk media, the fan base, have been telling you for 4 effing years now that you have too many lefties in your lineup and you cannot expect to win a World Series with as many lefties in the lineup as you do. You can't expect to win a World Series like that, flat out. You had an opportunity 2 years ago to bring Hoskins back, didn't do it. You had opportunity last year to bring Polar Bear Pete Alonso in. You had opportunity to bring Teoscar Hernandez in. Big right-handed power bats, and this baseball team didn't do it. So now, after 4 years of sports talk media, people like me, sports talk radio, fan base, fans, telling Dave, telling Rob, telling John Middleton, hey, there's way too many lefties in this lineup to be good. You can throw Snell out there and Vesia. Like, you can throw all these guys out there and hurt our lefty-led lineup. And outside of Schwarber and Harper, you get no production out of your lefties anyway. So so finally, all of a sudden, Dave Dombrowski realizes that there's way too many lefties in this lineup. Not good enough. It doesn't cut it. But every sign, every message points me right back to the fact that this baseball team is going to run it back. They believe that it's not their fault that they lost. They believe they just ran into a good baseball team. But that's exactly who you face in the postseason. What was this baseball team going to do? Right? Like, let's say they had to play the Padres or they had to play the Cubs. The Cubs and the Padres are obviously not as good as the Dodgers. But the Cubs and the Padres, they're good, but they're both good clubs. So in the postseason, where, I mean, all these teams are very good, and you had to play the Cubs, you had to play the Padres, you would expect, so you would roll over and die in that series too, just because they're a good team? Just because those teams are good, you're just going to roll over and die? See, that's what doesn't make sense to me, right? Like Rob and Dombrowski, time after time. Oh, well, we ran into a good team. You know, they had a great start in pitching. So did the Phillies. And the Phillies have a great enough lineup to be able to hit very good pitching. But like they used the same excuse last year for the Mets, right? So again, how do you look at this and you say this was a positive season? All these reasons, the Phillies in the National League East, winning the division, getting the first round bye. Schwarber, the season that he had. JT showing production, right? Like, I look at all of this. I look at all of that. And then the fact that you lost to the Dodgers the way that you did, no fight, no heart, no urgency. You were lifeless. You were gutless. You were heartless. I can't look at that and say it was a productively good season. Yeah, certain players had a good year, but the Phillies themselves, as a collective team in the postseason, once again have rolled over and died. Rolled over and died. You know. And again, one last thing here. Dave Dombrowski says that Bryce Harper is declining. I see it. I see it. I do. I've been saying it all year. I've said it after every postseason game. Bryce Harper does not look like the Bryce Harper. But here we are. Finally, the management is waking up to what I'm saying. And there's no shade on Bryce Harper, but Bryce Harper is still a very good player. Let's not get it twisted, but he's just not that same clutch Bryce Harper that he once was. And he's running old. He's got a lot of injuries. He's banged up. I just don't know if this baseball team can rely on him year after year, more and more and more to be the front runner. You know, I just don't think so. Let's go to my buddy Gavin. What is up, Gavin?
What's up, man? How are you?
It could be better, you know. I'm kind of pissed off about this press conference, but you know, what am I going to do?
Yeah, dude, it was something, you know, a lot of mixed emotions and a lot of questions. They may be unanswered, but it's going to be something this winter.
It will. It's going to be crazy to see what they do because my heart is telling me is that these guys are running it back. It's going to be the same team with or without Schwarber, with or without JT. It's just going to be the same cats over and over and over again, the same play. And that's where it is. Like, that's what my heart tells me. But then, like, you have to upgrade somewhere. And I just don't. For some reason, this team is in love with just keeping guys way after their prime, man.
Yeah, dude, it's something for sure. And I don't know where to go with this team at this point because you have guys who are aging, you know, you've come up short so many years in a row that you're in this situation to where, what do you do now? Like, do you spend a crap load of money on Kyle Schwarber, who's a DH, and then risk him sucking for the rest of his career, just like a Ryan Howard situation? Do you want to do that risk for DH? Do you want to pay JT a lot of money? You might have to because they don't even have another catcher position. I don't want Garrett Stubbs or Marchand to be our catcher. So you kind of have to bring back JT. But you know what I mean? Like, do you throw all that money at Schwarber? Do you throw a crap load of money at Bader? Because like you said, Bader is not the savior. Like, I love Harrison Bader, but he's not like Julio Rodriguez. He's not a Kyle Tucker, and he's not anything like
he's not any of that. Like, he's great. If he's our center fielder, that's great. And he has great production. He's been great for this baseball team. And that's wonderful. I'm glad he's here, whatever. If you could re-sign him, that's perfect. But I can't look at this outfield and say, well, we're going to win a World Series because, well, we have Harrison Bader, but next to him on his left and on his right is Castellanos and Max Kepler, Brandon Marsh, and Otto Kemp. If you have Harrison Bader, but you also have a Kyle Tucker. You also have a Bellinger, right? You have guys that have some serious damage. You know, then I say, well, the Bader move's great, but Bader is just not, and I love him, and I'm not disrespecting him by any means, but he is not supposed to be your savior.
Exactly, man. And that's a good point because he's not supposed to be that guy, respectfully. I mean, he's a good player. We love him, you know, great production, but he's not that guy. And it'll be interesting with the whole Tucker and the Bellinger situation because, like you said, Dave said, yeah, our lineup is really lefty heavy. Well, guess what, dude? They're both lefties. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many unanswered questions that are going to be headed to this offseason. That's like, where do you go with this team? Because do you want to throw a bag at Alonso? You can. That's fine.
I would be so happy right now if they threw money at Alonso. Because, again, like you said and like I said earlier, they said there's way too many lefties. And I've been saying that for freaking years. Everybody's been saying that for years. There's way too many lefties, bottom line. But So, how do you restructure this team if you don't get rid of Schwarber, if you don't get rid of Stott and Marsh, right? Like you can look at this lineup and say, well, there's too many lefties, but there's too many lefties because you don't go out and sign a right-handed power bat. Like last year, there was Teoscar Hernandez on the market, or 2 years ago, whatever it was. And then last year, you had Alonso on the market before he re-signed with the Mets, where you had so many different options that you could have went to for a right-handed power bat. And Bregman's on the market this year too. So you look at all this and you say, well, we can make our team better with right-handed power bat, but I don't see them doing that because they are afraid to move on from pieces.
100%, man. 100%. And yeah, do they go after Bregman? Do you go after Gino Suarez? Because you have to get a power bat who's a righty. Because you can't sign too many lefties. You can't.
You have to. And that's what's killed this baseball team year after year. And what has killed this baseball team year after year is, well, after you go to Turner, Schwarber, Harper, then what? After them, you got to put Bohm. Bohm's not a power bat. Bohm blows. So who do you put there? You don't have anybody. Put JT, fine, but JT's also not the JT from 2019. That's not JT either. So we can look at this lineup and say, well, we can do this, we can do that, but they hold on to the guys way too long. They're afraid to move on from people, but you have to bring in a power bat because you could throw an all lefty game and kill the Phillies. You can throw an all lefty game. Snell, great lefty, and he killed the Phillies because they can't hit lefty pitching. And I'm waiting for a year where if Bryce Harper's going to bat 3, I am finally waiting for a year where we have a right-handed power bat that actually can hit the baseball 450 feet, and not someone that just hits the ball over the wall or hits little loop singles. I don't want that anymore. I want a team that can play baseball at a high level every single night. That's what I want, Gavin. Gavin, you got anything else for me, brother?
Dude, all I gotta say is that Justin Crawford is another lefty. So,
what are we doing? That's what I mean, though. So Dombrowski says, let's move on for right-handed guys. Perfect. Let's move on from left-handed guys. Perfect. But so what do you want to do? You want to get rid of Schwarber? Okay, fine. I don't care. Then let's get rid of Marsh then, right? Like if you want to rebuild this lineup to have the right lefty-right matchup, you got to move on from Marsh. You got to maybe move on from Stott. And then you're going to have Crawford up here. Then you maybe got to move on from Schwarber. There's so many endless possibilities when it comes to this. But then if you want to bring in a Tucker, you want to bring in a Bellinger, that's more left-handed guys. But I don't think it's the lefty hitters that are problem. I don't think it's just the fact that they bat from the left side. I think it's the fact that these guys every single year our lefty batters blow. That's what it is. Our lefty batters blow. Outside of Harper and Schwarber, our lefty batters are Marsh, Kepler, and Stott. What are you supposed to win with that as your lefty production? I just don't see it. Gavin, I really do appreciate the phone call, man. It's just I think everybody's where I am. But, thank you guys all for tuning in to this show. Good to get a lot of things off my chest. I know a lot of people are angry just like me. There's so many different endless possibilities, so many different answers when it comes to this baseball team. I'm annoyed. You're annoyed. I'm sure we're going to get into so much more of this, especially with an Eagles game Sunday too. Oh my God forbid. We'll break it all down. The Eagles pregame and postgame here on Pearl Street Sports. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. I'll see you all very, very soon. Harper has been absolutely insane. I'm ready to run through a wall.
We're going to run some clock. Or maybe
this team is destined